Hey Essentials, welcome back from our Thanksgiving break. I hope you all spent the last week disconnecting and engaging with your loved ones. It's been so important to build those relationships and to continue to build them. So I hope you did that. However, the show must go on. So what I wanted to do is spend a few minutes just kind of going over, reaffirming, reestablishing these norms that we have. For today's activity, it's pretty straightforward. Remember that everything should be geared towards your course calendar. And I know if you've had such an awesome, amazing, restful week and enjoyed your Thanksgiving break, you probably have forgotten how to check your course calendar. So I'm going to show you. So you'll open up Microsoft Teams. I'm using my Period 5 Essentials. Period 3, this is the same thing for you. You'll, at the top under the general channel, mine says 3 more, yours may say something different, but you're going to click on course calendar. And then once that loads, under today's activity, there's going to be a few things that you're going to do. So first thing you're going to do is take the pretest, and you're going to click here. Where it says here, you're going to click that hyperlink, and it's going to take you to a Microsoft form. Make sure you do this first. This is super important that you do this first, because that's really going to help me realize where I need to spend a little bit more time on versus where I don't, where you guys are already so proficient. And then it says watch today's session. By clicking here, you guys are already watching the session. That's how you knew to jump onto your course calendar. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is right now, pause the video, go and do your pretest, and come right back. So, welcome back. Now that you've taken the pretest, we're going to go over the Bill of Rights. So, what are the Bill of Rights? Well, those, as you can see, are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. However, before the new Constitution can go into effect, at least 9 of the 13 states need to ratify it. Any word that's bolded and underlined, specifically underlined, I've given you definitions for, and it's really important that you remember those definitions. Ratify is just another word for approve. Okay, so before any constitution, anything new goes into effect, it always needs to be approved. In this case, the Constitution needs to be approved by 9 out of the 13 states. The supporters of approving the Constitution were called the Federalists, and those against that ratification were called the Anti-Federalists. So the Anti-Federalists criticized the Constitution because it lacked a Bill of Rights to protect individual freedoms. They were afraid of being oppressed by the federal government just as they were under the King of England. And oppressed means kept down by unfair authority. And you can see in the picture someone's just kind of holding you down, and that's outside of your control. And that's exactly what this view was for the Anti-Federalists. However, finally, the Federalists agreed to add a Bill of Rights after the new government took effect. And there was so much rejoicing. There was a lot of celebration because this was a really big deal. So, ratifying this Constitution, they added these 10 amendments. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution have now come to be known as the Bill of Rights. So, the First Amendment, these are your guaranteed freedoms. You've got 5 basic freedoms that are guaranteed to you under the First Amendment. And that's freedom of religion, speech, the right to peacefully assemble, freedom of press, and then the right to petition. Your Second Amendment protects the rights of the states to maintain a militia and of citizens to bear arms. So remember, your Second Amendment has 2 components. It's protects the rights of states, and then it also is your right to bear arms. The Third Amendment, this restricts your quartering of troops in private homes. This means that any military troops cannot just go into your home under the name of the law and say, I'm staying here. Because back in the day, that's what had to happen. If there was a war going on, or whatever the case was, troops could go into your home at any unannounced time and completely take over. And the Third Amendment protects you from that. So I want you to pause for a second after reading this question. And I want you to just kind of think to yourself and answer this question to yourself and get some logic behind that. I'm asking you this particular question because you should be seeing it again. So why do you think they would include the Third Amendment? Why would this even come up? Why would this be important? So pause and take a second to ponder. Welcome back. So now that you've paused and pondered, the Fourth Amendment, this is what protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. So this essentially will protect you from being stopped at any time. So, an officer coming to your door and just saying, "I want to search your house," is unacceptable. So essentially what you need to know is that this is a covered protection for you under the Fourth Amendment, requiring a search warrant. The Fifth Amendment, this assures the right to not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So just remember, the Fifth Amendment is due process, your right to due process. No double jeopardy. That means that that one person cannot be tried for the same crime twice. Just because you go under trial and you get a not guilty verdict doesn't mean that the prosecutor's office can turn around and refile charges. That's not allowed. Once a jury has been sworn in, or the first witness has been put up on the stand and has begun their testimony in a bench trial, double jeopardy applies. And then the last component of the Fifth Amendment is that a person cannot be forced to testify against themselves. And that's where you hear the infamous saying, "I plead the Fifth." The Sixth Amendment, this guarantees the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. And this is, of course, in criminal cases. If someone is if someone has been charged with murder, with robbery, with rape, with whatever it is as a criminal violation, they have a right to a speedy and public trial, and to assure that it's an impartial jury. The Seventh Amendment assures the right to a jury trial in civil cases, and these are lawsuits that are filed of over $20. And going real quick back to the Seventh Amendment, all that means is that if the case is over $20, you are allowed to file it. The Eighth Amendment protects against excessive bail or cruel and unusual punishment. This basically means that the judge cannot set a bail of $2 million for something that you've stolen a total worth of $300. Of course, there are exceptions to that, but it just protects you from that excessive bail. And then cruel and unusual punishment. This basically protects you from, if you have a client that you're defending who's on trial for robbery, the judge cannot order a doctor to cut off their hand as their punishment for robbery. That's cruel and unusual. Additionally, the Ninth Amendment is where it reserves the power to the people. This prevents the government from claiming that the only rights people have are those listed in the Bill of Rights. So again, it just means power to the people, which is represented by the images and diagram below. Again, all it means is just because it's not listed in the Constitution or in the Bill of Rights doesn't mean that you don't get the rights. And then the 10th Amendment, this is where it reserves the powers to the states. Any powers not assigned to the federal government in the Constitution or denied to the states specifically in the Constitution belong to the states. So that's where you'll see the diagram, power to the states. So those are your first 10 amendments to the Constitution, which are known as the Bill of Rights. Okay, so what I want you to do now is, if you were trying to rush through, take notes, listen to me, go ahead and rewatch this, pause and play as much as you need to. Make sure you are familiar with these, because as we move on in the essentials class and then even ultimately into the applications class, you're going to be expected to apply these amendments to specific cases and more in the immediate future of your activity for tomorrow. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to mention to you all is if you go to your Microsoft Teams, there's a channel called Important End of Semester Information. You're going to click that. And then up here, where mine says one more, yours may not, but you'll click on Important End of Semester Info. It is its own tab. Once you click on that, I've given you my virtual classroom, but on this bulletin board are all hyperlinked. So you can click on summative versus formative grades, the recovery policy, how to earn a final grade, and then the policy for our fall final exams this semester. So read up on all of that and ask me questions. Remember that the recovery date, the deadline is this Friday, December 4th. So you must have all recovery done by this Friday. I cannot extend it. Don't ask me. I'm going to tell you no. I love you all, but I can't do it. Okay. Also, as a general request, I'm asking that you turn in all of your missing assignments, anything you want to turn in. If you want to recover an assessment, you need to have that done by Friday as well, to give me plenty of time to grade it, to really determine if you qualify for exempting your fall final exam. Other than that, that is it. I miss you guys. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family and loved ones. I certainly am thankful for each and every one of you. And I will see you on Tuesday. See ya.